Coming your way on today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now we're going to open up the floor, take your questions from all of our real ones right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. The subscribers have questions and hot takes, and we're going to pop them up here on the show and react and answer all of them. We get it started with Bird Gang Eagles. Will the Eagles have some good picks going into the draft? We actually can give you a look at all of the draft selections that Philadelphia has right now, a total of 8 of them. They originally had 9, but then they traded a pick away to get back Kenny Pickett to be the backup quarterback behind Jalen Hurts. So Philadelphia on the board, round 1, pick 22 overall. Round 2, 2 selections there, 50 and 53, a 4th-round pick at 120. Round 5, 161 overall, and then 171 and 172. And then Philadelphia rounds out the draft there, round 6, pick 210. You can take a screenshot of that so that you can inform your friends when they have a question for you what the Eagles picks are, and you can just thank us later. Brazzy Smacks, I get the multiple reasons why Howie Roseman did it. I think he's talking about the Haason Reddick trade. I didn't want to do the team thing because he knew this was his last chance of getting the bag. Number 2, he might not play hard. It may open up holes and break. So Brazzy Smacks talking about Haason Reddick here. And we're live on Eagles Now as of this recording, and that's our poll question. What did you think of the Haason Reddick trade? 38% thumbs up, 62% thumbs down. Brazzy Smacks brings up an interesting point that Haason Reddick was chasing sacks. That's something that Jeff McClain talked about on 97.5 The Fanatic on Wednesday morning that I thought was pretty interesting. And Fletcher Cox kind of alluded to that during the season, that some players were chasing numbers and chasing sacks. They weren't really playing within the scheme. And that surprised me to a certain degree because Haason Reddick always played with effort. He's a premier edge rusher in the game. He has 4 consecutive years of 10-plus sacks. He's a special, special player, and the Eagles probably would not have gone to the Super Bowl without his services in 2022. But if he was selfish and chasing sacks and not playing within the scheme, that's a little bit of an issue. I never put stock into what Dan Sileo says, but he said that Vic Fangio met with Haason Reddick, and Reddick didn't like the plan that Fangio had for him in that defense. Fangio does ask his edge rushers to drop back in coverage. It's just not a strong suit for Haason Reddick. The 3 reasons that I gave for why the Eagles may have traded him away, because I wouldn't have. I don't get rid of special players, especially at an important position of hunting the quarterback. Number 1, his asking price was too high. He probably wanted well north of $20 million. Philadelphia wasn't willing to go that steep. Number 2, they're trying to get younger at the position. Bryce Huff, 26. Nolan Smith going into year 2. Haason Reddick will be 30 years old this year. And then number 3, what if I told you that Philadelphia didn't want to pay Haason Reddick because they want to use that money toward a DeVonta Smith contract extension? Who'd you rather have for the long haul? Smitty, Haason Reddick. Eagles probably siding with DeVonta Smith. Paul, $2 super chat. You can't forget about Javon Curse and Trent Cole. He's bringing up that with that super chat right there. Thank you so much for your donation, because we asked the people, what is your favorite Eagles jersey of all time? For me, authentic Brian Dawkins Reebok jersey, Kelly Green. I bought that when I was a kid because I knew I'd be able to wear it forever. By the way, jersey with the hoodie underneath, always the best look. My second favorite Eagles jersey is a Kelly Green Jason Kelce jersey. When I get jerseys, I want long-term value. I want to be able to wear them forever. And you're able to do that with franchise legends and franchise icons. So, B-Doc, Jason Kelce. I also have Ricky Waters, Irving Fryer from back in the day, Jeremiah Trotter, Brian Westbrook, Lito Shepard, a Kelly Green, Deshaun Jackson from 2010. What is your favorite Eagles jersey? Let me know down in the comments section. LFX Lion Fighter, higher need for the draft, cornerback or offensive line? I think it's cornerback. You need offensive line depth right now, and you obviously want to have that contingency plan for when Lane Johnson retires, so you could draft a guard who turns into a center, or a guard who turns into a right tackle down the road. You do have a need for a center, depending on what you think of Cam Jurgens. But right now, I think you need a starting corner. And that's on the outside, and it's in the slot. And I hope Philadelphia addresses both of those positions in the upcoming draft. With that, let's ask you this. Who is your biggest draft crush? Which player do you absolutely love in this draft? Let me know. You know what ticketing app I absolutely love? GameTime. Best seats, lowest price guaranteed. And with the GameTime app, the prices drop as the event gets closer. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event or even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. And it's really the only ticketing app that gives you a complete peace of mind with your purchase, where you can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. There's the GameTime guarantee, which means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less on another app, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your purchase. You can see where you'll be sitting. Citizens Bank Park. We have some images on the screen right here, as well as at the Wells Fargo Center for some Sixers games. But you don't just have to go to a Phillies or Sixers game. Concerts, comedy shows, theater, GameTime has it all. Jake, next up, do you think the Reed extension means that the Eagles are out on Justin Simmons? And he's, of course, talking about Reed Blankenship here. No. And I think it's crazy that people overreacted to that signing. It's $3.9 million guaranteed total over the next 2 years for a UDFA who has made the roster, who's been a steady contributor, who's not afraid to put his hat on the ball carrier, who's played solid safety, who's made some big plays for this Eagles defense. And that is very little money to pay a starter in this league. And if he's a backup, that's a worthy investment for a high-level backup who can also contribute on special teams. It's not like we're talking about a first-round pick here. You're giving $3.9 million to a player who has earned it. You're rewarding him for earning it as an undrafted free agent who has already exceeded any expectations that anybody placed upon him. But it's $3.9 million. It's not a lot of money. Philadelphia still has a lot of cap space left. That does not take them away from signing a player like Justin Simmons. They could still sign Justin Simmons as well. And then you have 3 really solid safeties, 4 solid safeties. If you count Sidney Brown, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Justin Simmons, Reed Blankenship. I think Blankenship can play a little hybrid linebacker as well. Brian Reed, what would be the cap hit if they unemploy James Bradberry, and where would Isaiah Rodgers factor in? I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to have an opportunity to play for this team. Got to come off the gambling suspension. And he's played good football in his life. He's also had returning experience throughout his career. As for the cap numbers for James Bradberry, I'm pulling those up right now. He signed that 3-year, $38 million deal. If he were to be cut pre-June 1, $15 million in dead money, $10.8 in cap savings. If he were to be cut post-June 1, $4.3 million in dead money, literally $0 in cap savings. But then there's some money that you have to eat after that as well. So it's just really hard for Philadelphia to move off of him because of the financials there. Brian Reed, if you're a soccer player, I hope you score some goals. Or if you're a goalie, you're not allowing goals. My man, thanks. Reed Bartkus. Chase, I'm liking Brock Bowers more and more each time you talk about him. Look, he's a generational tight end. And we talked about Brock Bowers on the show last week. And obviously it's a hypothetical. If he were to fall to number 22, or if he were to fall in the mid to late teens where Philadelphia really likes the player, they think by far he's the best player available because he's probably a top 10 player in this draft class overall, would they trade up for him? Or would they take him at 22, as the post-Dallas Goedert plan? But in the meantime, when you have Goedert on this roster, you play Brock Bowers and Dallas Goedert. Bowers is your pass-catching tight end. Goedert is your pass-catching tight end and your blocker. they already like to use a lot of two tight end sets. They've done that with Dallas Goedert, Jack Stoll over the last couple of years. Jack Stoll now at the New York Giants. Now Goedert could fulfill that role as a much better weapon and pass catcher. Very difficult for defenses to adjust and to counter and to game plan against A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Brock Bowers, and Dallas Goedert. And Brock Bowers could end up being one of the best tight ends in the league, and he's the guy who takes over once Goddard's contract expires. Maybe you use Goedert as a trade piece. A lot of options there. But I do think a team like the New York Jets at number 10, they can take Brock Bowers. And they've really loaded up both sides of the ball last 2 off seasons. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, that team can be dangerous. Iron Mike, 462, scale of 1 to 10. How comfortable are we without any more free agency signings? Can we go to my Eagles' remaining needs there, Chip? Because I think cornerback is a massive need. Outside corner and slot corner. In free agency, you lost Sua Opeta and Jack Driscoll, so you need to bring in some offensive line depth. Edge rusher is still a need. Defensive tackle, maybe a little bit of a need. Wide receiver 3 because Devontae Parker and Paris Campbell are not my answers. Backup running back, linebacker, safety. So on a scale of 1 to 100, how would I grade this Eagles roster right now? 80, 85? I mean, the premier talent is certainly there. Deucing Gaming. How much of a role will Nolan Smith play next year? He had 91 pass rushing snaps, if I'm not mistaken, last year for Philadelphia. He's going to at least triple or quadruple that this upcoming year. Nolan Smith is going to play a pivotal role as an edge rusher and pass rusher for Philadelphia in 2024. That's part of the reason why Philadelphia is moving off of Haason Reddick, because they have confidence that Nolan Smith is going to take that next step. And I thought he showed some flashes in that playoff game against Tampa Bay. He was one of the few players who actually played well, like the hustle, like the speed. He ran, 4.3, 4.4, 40-yard dash in the pre-draft process. Has bend, has twitch, needs to get a little bit bigger, but I'm a fan of Nolan Smith. Did you like the Haason Reddick trade? Y for yes, N for no. Let us know. Be sure to subscribe to the show for more draft content coming your way all throughout April. And as always, go Birds.